All right, so currently we have the what are called the primary colors. We have red, we have yellow, and we have blue. And they are the only colors we need to paint everything else, okay? Everything else. So what we're going to do is be mixing these colors. And I'm just taking a moment because I forgot to do a couple of my drops here. All right, so anyway, I painted the background up here. And the difference between this and liquid paint is that you have to make this liquid. What I like about it is it's really easy cleanup. Basically, all you need is a little paper towel, and you can just wipe one of these temper cakes if it gets dirty. Difference between this and watercolor is this gets really, really dark, or what we call opaque, where we can't see through it, whereas watercolor is not meant to be, okay? So we're going to paint the three primary colors today, and that's it. We'll be mixing tomorrow. So I painted this red background. Now that I'm going to be painting yellow, because remember, this is red, this is orange, this is yellow, this is green. We labeled these already. This is blue, and this is violet. So I'm going to be painting yellow right here. Okay, your eyes should be up on the screen, please. Now, it doesn't really matter to me that it's perfectly straight up and down. I know that it's easier to paint this way, so I'm going to paint this section. If you need to lighten your letters, you can, but you should actually be painting this so light, so dark that we could actually not see the letters. Okay? If your eyes are not on the screen, I need you to turn and face the screen so they are. Now, the only problem I have is I already painted red, so my water is tinted a little bit with red. I've already tried to clean my brush. We'll see if it's clean. Best way to do it is to put it like that, and there's just barely any color. Well, since we're really not using the sinks ton today, I'm not going to do yellow yet because I will get some clean water after I'm done with blue. Blue is darker than red. And I'm not mixing the two colors. I am actually just going to use the same water just because it's got a little bit of tint, but it's not too bad. So I'm going to paint the blue and come back to yellow after I get clean water. Does that make sense? Okay. So you guys try to keep your paint off of your painting, but I'm doing this just because I'm limited on space for the camera here. So I want to get my blue paint pretty liquid. So I'm going to dip it in the water, and I'm just going to put it on top of the blue paint, and I'm going to swirl it around and swirl it around and swirl it around. You do have a little bit of paper towel if something spills. I'm also going to give you a washcloth to clean your table because look at this. Gentlemen, look up, please. I'm going to make my table dirty, and I'm kind of doing it on purpose because it's easy for me. So I want to go in the same direction when I paint, and that is too watery. We want this to be dark, so let me take some of this paint out, water, and thicken this up a little bit. So that tells me I have to go a little bit thicker here. So let's try it. Going across, that is much better. So I'm going to try to keep in this direction other than when I outline. So one of the things you might want to do is turn your paper. See, I got the table dirty. I can clean that. Turn your paper and use the tip of your brush to go around your shape and by your lines. So I'm going to neaten this up even more, but right now I'm just going to take a moment and I'm really slowly, gently, just kind of outlining. Oh, there we go. All right, and messy stuff. Wiping with the rag, put it aside, and let me finish this up with a nice thick blue. So, swirl, swirl, swirl. Thicken, thicken, thicken. And I'm going to go across and keep this as neat as possible. If it's really transparent or kind of transparent, I want a thicker paint in my brush. And I'm going to go across. We have to take our time to do this. If we're rushing, it's going to be very obvious in the paint. All right, now I'm going to look at that and say, okay, do I have any little areas that are streaky? Yep, right here. Okay, and I'm just going to make that as neat as possible. All right, I got my blue done. I got my red done. It is time to do yellow. Well, I know right now that my yellow has to have clean water. So I am going to make, and a clean table. So I'm going to wipe my table down just a little bit. I'm going to clean, clean, clean. All right, you can always pinch your brushes, but absolutely do not twist. Oh, don't do it. And do not pull, because these are not the most expensive brushes, but they're still going to work pretty darn good for us. So we want to make sure and take care of them. Now, I'm going to check my brush again and say, okay, just swirl it around in the water, gently pinch. Okay, it's got a little bit of a tint to it, but we're okay to start with, because now Mrs. Cherwee is available. I'm going to take my water, and I'm just going to dump it. And then I've got a little container. It's a coffee container, coffee creamer container. I'll put a little water back in there for you. Does that make sense? All right. Then, once you get done with those two, you get some clean water. Then we're going to move on to yellow, and we are going to paint the yellow outline. All right?